The book nerd in me honors and respects the book nerd in you. My name is Matt Stevens, and this is your Matt Minute in Politics. I was struggling to come up with a topic for this video. So I said, I did, how people say I did a thing. Well, I actually did two things the other day. I went and voted early in an off-year election, of course. Of course, I voted. Much better this time. Didn't have to wait 5 hours and 7 minutes, but I chose to vote at a library this time because it was still early voting. So I did that for two reasons. Obviously, one, to vote. The second was because it's a library. I was like, you know what? I have wanted to read more. I know that several of you that watch these videos and people that I know personally have wanted to read more. And I was like, well, that's perfect. I'll just go to the library and vote at the same time. Ding, ding, ding. So I did. So I voted, and then I go over to the library side of the building and go and search for 30 to 45 minutes for books. And I came up with two books, actually. We'll go with this one first. This is Black in Latin America by Henry Louis Gates Jr., one of my favorite historians, Black historians. And he has done some other works that he has written some other books, at least one other book that I've read. He has done PBS documentaries, if you've seen them. But this Black in Latin America book, I'm halfway through it because I just got this 3 days ago. So, but I'm already halfway through it. It is great. We'll talk about that in a second. And then this one is called Dallas 1963. And I'll talk about that in a second too. But I got these two books, of course, history, politics. What else would I get, But I didn't want to do this video as just to talk about these two books. I want to talk about just reading in general and to see what you are reading. So before I forget to ask you, make sure that you get in the comment section and you tell me what you're reading. It doesn't have to be history or politics. If it is, that's even, I'm definitely paying attention to that because I always love suggestions about those topics. But even if it's not history or politics, I'm okay with that. If you're using your public library, what are your experiences? If you're not, is it something that you want to do? Do you have or could possibly have reading on your New Year's resolution list that would be coming up soon? I don't know. Monthly goal list. Let me know. But I am really wanting to make sure that I'm reading things and not just always turning on the TV or YouTube or something like that. So I decided to use the resources of my local public library. Now, I was talking about this Black in Latin America book, and you can tag Dr. Gates in this video if you want. I love that. I'll probably tag him myself too. And this is in no way an endorsement of him. I'm not being paid for this, but I just found this book to be really interesting about Black in Latin America. And like I said, I'm only halfway through it. It's 6 chapters. Each chapter is about a country. So it covers Brazil, Mexico, Peru. I'm on the Peru chapter now. And then it'll do Dominican Republic, Haiti, and I think it ends with Cuba. And what it basically talks about is how enslaved people came from Africa, and a majority of them settled not in the United States, but in Latin America. So in the Caribbean and Central and South America. And it covers those 6 countries. And it talks about what enslaved people would have faced at that time, what their role in slavery was. Also, what their experience would have been like, because not everything was like how we in America kind of think of the Deep South and slavery and the plantation and the big house. It wasn't always like that. You can read the book to understand it a little bit more. There was some of that, but it wasn't always in that way. But it's really, really, really interesting. I'm really enjoying learning about our people, people of the African diaspora. I'm not Latin, but, I just think it's a very interesting topic. I am learning Spanish, but that has nothing to do with this book. So when I saw that, I may have seen something about, there's a PBS documentary about this. If you've seen Black in Latin America on PBS, that's the same person. But I just thought it was really, really interesting. And I have not yet seen the documentary. So I was like, I want to read the book before I watch the documentary. So that was what I started with. And I'm going to finish that first. And then I think I have until the end of November to return these books. So 2 books in a month, that shouldn't be too hard, especially the pace that I've been reading it at. The second book, and then I'm going to let you guys go, is called Dallas 1963. And I haven't started on this book at all, but if one kind of fun or maybe weird fact about me is that I keep up with and have read a lot of books about the Kennedy assassination, specifically of John F. Kennedy when he was president. And of course, that was in November of 1963 in Dallas, Texas. So that anniversary is coming up, but I just thought that this book was really interesting. The title and the kind of the synopsis of it was really interesting because it talks about what was the climate of hate in the city of Dallas, Texas in the year of 1963. Again, remember, the president was assassinated that year in November 22nd to be exact. So there had been a lot going on in 1963 prior to his arrival in November. And things that were going on in regards to race relations and just things and the general sentiment in the Dallas community throughout that year. And so it covers that year in Dallas. I obviously was not alive in 1963, so I wouldn't know that. So I picked up a book to read about it. So it's called, again, Dallas 1963. I'm not being paid for this. This is just what I picked up out of my local library. But I'm really interested to know kind of like what was going on then that would have set the stage for the assassination of a president in broad daylight. Unfortunately, that day in 1963. So I'm going to get a better understanding of Dallas. Dallas is also kind of one of those interesting places for me because it's the largest. Ooh, I almost dropped it. Got it. Caught it. Dallas is the largest big city in America that I have never been to. I've never been to, never transited through, never done anything in the city of Dallas, Texas. So I want to go there for a couple of reasons, but I still have never been. So anyway, that was my little nerdy kind of outing late last week. Picked up these 2 books from the library. If you have picked up any books from the library, let me know. What do you think about going to the library? Do you still go to the library? Do you have a library card? If you do, let us know. So I think this is a great space to kind of share what we are reading and what we're learning. That's what the whole point of this channel is, the Matt Minute in Politics. Because if you watch this regularly, you're gonna learn something. So I can do other videos and let you know what these 2 selections, what I really thought about them. And then let you know what I pick up next from the library. So let me know what you picked up from the library. That's it. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is your Matt Minute in Politics. I'm your host, Matt Stevens. And all of my social media information is in the lower left-hand corner: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow me on there. Also, be sure to share this video. I appreciate it. Love you guys, and I'll be coming to you again really soon.